All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. Part two here with Coach Chris. It's been a great conversation so far. We've talked about the importance of resilience, being disciplined, being focused, and how coaching can definitely help you in all these different areas, especially as you engage in your entrepreneur endeavors or just personal growth in general. As we are becoming our best self, or in the, in works of becoming our best selves, how does having a support system or a mentor contribute to achieving those goals?
There's a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Fast, go alone. Far, go together. So having a mentor, and mentor in this instance is defined as someone who has successfully done something that you would like to do or are doing. And so having that person in your life really reduces the learning curve, because they get to tell you what they've learned to get where they are. And they not only get to tell you about their successes, they get to tell you about the things that didn't work out well. And it allows you to avoid some pitfalls. So having a mentor is essential to reducing the learning curve. Having supportive individuals who are encouraging and supportive and accepting of what it is you're trying to do, but also individuals who tell you the truth. And as we say, tell you the truth in love, not condescending, not in a shameful way, but in a helpful way, to help you either become clear on your goals or on your process. So mentors and support system are essential, because as humans, some days we feel like it and some days we don't. And the truth is, whether we believe we can or whether we believe we can't, we're right.
So in terms of support system, if you can give like a 1-2 steps to picking or identifying individuals to have as in your support system circle, what are some attributes or characteristics or just, guidance that you would share?
Another great question, Chidera. It's so helpful for someone in your support system to have goals and aspirations themselves. And so they are doing exactly what you're doing. So they know what encouragement, how important it is to encourage. They know how important it is to be supportive. Individuals who are on the sidelines without any goals or aspirations of their own set themselves up to be in a position to judge what you're doing. And the reason that they can do that is they have time, because they're not doing anything themselves. And so finding someone who has goals and aspirations, who understands risks versus reward, and again, someone who can also reinforce winning and learning.
Nice. And as you were saying that almost reminded me of something my mom would say once in a while, not anymore as much, but back then when I was in high school, middle school, she said her mom used to tell her this: show me your friends and I will show you who you are. And a lot of us may not realize how, we have friends who are supposed to be maybe our support system, not necessarily maybe our mentors or anything, but at least a support system in your goals and effort. And my mom would say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Well, I'll show you who you are. Although that is not 100% factual for every situation, But the people that you pick around you, it does say a lot about you. If you're not a very committed individual, if you're not certain qualities that you don't have, you tend to see it amongst the people that we have really close to us. And obviously, that's not the same. The scenario is not the same for all. But that's just as you were talking about it in terms of support system. And I think of my friends as a support system. I remember that proverb from my mom.
Yeah. And so that comes up in coaching. One of the questions that I may ask is, who is it that is not part of your circle that needs to be? Who's in your circle currently that has outlived their utility?
Mm.
And who do you need? In essence, who do you need to let go? And so, who do I need to add? Who do I need to let drop? And who is in my circle that I need to actually spend more time with, because they're a resource, but I have not been utilizing them the way that I could and should?
Those are really good questions, especially when it comes to friendship. I've always been taught that, well, not always. I've heard this a few times where they say in your friendships, you should have friends that you are motivated by, that they push you. And then in the same, in other friends, you should have other friends that maybe you are the one that's pulling them. You're the one that's pushing them, because it helps you have this give and take relationship, you know what I mean, with your friends. I don't know how valid that is. I haven't really tested it out that much, but anything to add on that theory?
That's actually biblical. That we should have someone in our life that we're learning from. We should have someone in our life that's on the same level. And we should have someone that is not yet where we are, that we can pour into their life to help them grow. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's biblical.
Oh, well, I'm happy I'm able to remember some biblical principles. My mom should be happy. So, just a few more questions here. We wanted to know exactly in terms of significance of the role of imagination. I know earlier in our interview, in the part one, we talked a little bit about how fear, aka imagination of something that hasn't even happened or occurred, can really impact, perhaps even stunt the growth of a person. But there's also the opposite side of where imagination, on the positive end, can be a really nice driving force for success. So how significant is that role of imagination in driving that force of success?
It is vital. It is vital. And so imagination or visualization allows an individual to see in advance what their goals are, what their ultimate destination is. And as a coach, one of the exercises that I do is I ask a client to envision a time in the future, a year from now. And so Chidera, let's just kind of role play. Okay. So
I got you.
Envision that it's November 21st, 2024. And everything that you dreamed of and been praying for has come true. Look at where you are. Look at the resources you have. Look at your lifestyle. Look at the power and authority and influence that you have. Look around and see the vivid colors and the details of all of those things. And what happens, Chidera, is you begin to feel a certain way.
Absolutely.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Excitement, fulfillment. I wish I had better vocabulary, like dictionary. My vocabulary is not that extensive, but definitely a lot of excitement. Definitely the feeling of fulfillment, happiness, joy, being surrounded with my family. I'm, envisioning husband, children, stable income, residual income, obviously. But
Yes.
mostly, it's the family is there. I'm able to, provide and help them get to a certain level where they're financially free, and
Nice.
that feels really good. Yeah.
Thank you for playing along. Here's the thing. That was 2024, right? That's a year from now.
Right.
When did you get the feeling?
2023.
Today.
Yeah.
So you have the visualization, the image, and the feeling today.
Oh.
And so whenever you get discouraged or wonder if it's worth it, what can you do?
Close my eyes and envision.
Go back to the vision,
Yeah.
to the imagination, the thing that actually hasn't happened yet. But that thing that I envisioned or visualized or imagined creates a certain sense of energy, pride, encouragement, determination. So that's what helps me get to that destination and make it a reality.
Nice.
What do you think about that?
No, I think that's amazing. Especially for me, I sort of do this exercise, or rather, it sort of reminds me of an exercise that I do, which is the vision board creation.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do that maybe once a year. And I remember 2 years ago, the one I did about 2 years ago, I remember looking at it behind my bedroom door. I was like, because I put it up there, and the intention was when I wake up, I go to my door, I was going to see my vision board. But to be honest, that thing has been there and I have not taken a look at it. But just one day, just walking around, and I just sat there and I was looking at it. And I was like, wow, I have actually accomplished at least 75% of the stuff on this board. But that's the thing, though. When you're accomplishing these things and checking the boxes, when I was doing it, I didn't realize that I was actually checking the box of the stuff that I wrote. I didn't realize that the things that I was doing present time was once something that I wished I could do a few months and years ago. So, and we talked about this. I wasn't really taking the time for myself. I wasn't. What's the word? I wasn't acknowledging a lot of my hard work and the results of my hard work. So because I'm always on the go, thinking of what's the next thing to do, how do I get this? How do I do this? Where am I supposed to be? Am I where I'm supposed to be? I'm just always thinking about the future, that I didn't realize present time I had accomplished what in the past was my future goal. So
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And that story is thank you for sharing that. Reminds me of climbing your Everest, climbing your Mount Everest. Because when we climb Everest, we have to go with guides. We need individuals who've done this before, because it's dangerous. And here's the thing, I'm not exactly sure how many days it'll take, but it's a multiple day trip. And just imagine we've climbed X number of miles, and we're shutting down for the evening, and we're tired, and we're sore, and we're hungry. And now discouragement begins to set in. And we contemplate whether or not we can reach the summit. that's when the Sherpa, the guide, comes and talks with us. And then he points down the mountain.
Yeah.
And he says, you see that grayish blue spot right there? That's where we were yesterday.
Yeah.
The reason that you're tired, the reason that your muscles are sore is because of the progress that you made today.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets to say, see that green spot up there? That's where we're going to be tomorrow.
Wow.
So get something to eat. Get a good night's rest. Because tomorrow we got work to do.
Nice. I love how your background is just trying to swallow your face. I think it's like, come here, man. But no, that's a really great story, you know? And it reminds me of this other story I heard. Well, this one is in terms of, you know, resilience and just pushing forward and stuff like that. The boy and the horse were together in the forest or something. And the young boy is like, I can't see the future. Like, I can't see what's ahead. So the horse says, can you see what's right in front of you? So he says, yes, I can. And so he's like, yeah, just keep looking at what's right in front of you. Keep going, and you'll probably, you know, get out the clouds or the mist, and you can see what's ahead later. Or you might even be at the place where, you know, you're trying to get to already.
Nice.
So that's something that I'm also learning to do. And especially because it's easy for me to tune into this auto, let's work on this, let's do, it's always a go, like on the go. I'm always looking towards the future. And because I'm looking at towards the future, I don't even like realize what's happening in the present. Then my present becomes the past. And I look back, I'm like, oh, I should have done something. I should have gone on this trip. I should have taken that vacation. I remember a perfect example, and I think I shared it with you, was when I was in high school. And I graduated. I said to myself, once I graduate high school, I am going to take a really nice vacation. I mean, this is a big deal. Yeah. Then I graduated high school and I didn't do anything. I went straight to like pre-college programs and stuff. Then I was like, okay, cool. I'm stuck here. College starts a few months later, you know, fine. Once I graduate out of this 4-year degree, I'm definitely treating myself. Like, I'm really going to do it. Graduated after 4 years, I would find myself in DC working the whole summer. And adulthood started for me from there, you know? And then I did my master's. I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to celebrate and take time off. And I've always wanted to do this. I wanted to just take a year, like a gap year, and just not even tour the whole world, because, you know, I'm not financially free to that point where I can leverage my finance to do all that. But just take, even if it's a gap 3 months to 6 months of not thinking about what's to come, of not thinking about how am I going to get my next paycheck to put into this or pay for that, you know. I always wanted that. But each step of the way, I'm keep looking so far in the future. I never enjoy the present, or I didn't really enjoy the present much. And then the present becomes the past. And I'm like, oh, all the regrets. I wish I had this time to do this. And I wish I had done that. So it's a sad realization, but I am working on it.
I think you're going to do fine. And just as a reminder, we are human beings versus human doings. And some people, not necessarily talking about you, Chidera, are more comfortable doing than being. And so if you ask them, tell me a little bit about yourself, They say, well, I'm the president of this, and I used to work here, and I'm working on this, and I'm building this. It's like, no, tell me a little bit about who you are, what your values are, what's important to you that has nothing to do with what you do. And here's the thing, I'm not sure if I shared with you that in a former life, I was a college basketball official.
You did. Yeah.
Okay. And for 7 years, my identity was that. And so most of my relationships had to do with that field. And I traded and leveraged that avocation every chance I got. But at the point I was no longer in that avocation, I had conflated who I was with what I was doing.
Wow.
And then when I stopped doing, I wasn't sure who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it like it was yesterday. Note to self, never again. Who I am and what I do are two different things. And so it shows up in coaching that individuals have conflated those two things. And once they lose their identity, what they do becomes essential, because who am I without my TV show? Who am I without my business? Who am I without my house? And so they go through drastic measures to maintain those things.
Wow. Now that's definitely a powerful observation. And I think a lot of people, especially in this world that we're in, it's so easy for us to get conflated in terms of, who we are versus what we do, and it's easy to definitely mix that up. And as you were talking, the example of, when they ask someone, tell me about yourself. Unfortunately, I do start off with the, I'm a computer science major, blah, 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 what I've done, but not necessarily who I am. And now I think about it, it's a tough question to answer because I'm still figuring that out because I haven't really discovered myself all that way,
Chidera, in our few conversations, you have a rich culture.
Yeah, that's true.
You're an amazing Nigerian woman from the Igbo tribe.
Okay.
Who has great aspirations and looks to do amazing things based on her forefathers and what was poured into you. So, yeah.
That's dope. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does.
That's who you are.
Thank you.
So, as a coach, I get to remind powerful, interesting, strong, fill in the blank individuals who they really are. And sometimes they forget and start living in a way that conflicts with their deeply held values. And through questions, we get them back in alignment.
Wow.
Because success really is living in alignment with your goals. With your values.
Nice. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I guess that leads me to our last topic or question today, which is anything else you would like to share before we wrap up this wonderful segment?
I would.
Yeah.
I would just challenge everyone to endeavor to live an amazing life, to really think about first, what would amazing 2024 look like? What would need to happen so that at the beginning of 2025, I said, last year was amazing, simply amazing. And so for each of us, that's different.
Yeah.
So our lives are telling a story, and each of us has the pen in our hand. And we can either live in a mediocre life or an amazing life. And in my generation, we believe Michael Jordan was the best basketball player ever. Not everyone believes that. But here's the thing. All of us, when we find the thing that we were designed to do, can be Michael Jordan-esque, meaning excel at a very high level. If we don't find the thing that we were designed to do, we can also be like Michael Jordan when he was playing baseball. That didn't go really well. And many of us are in jobs, in associations, and have relationships that keep us tied to a mediocre life. And so if that's you or someone that you know, you may need the assistance of a therapist to help you let go of some of the baggage related to the trauma of the past, or you may need a great coach to help you get from where you are to where you'd like to be, overcoming real or imagined obstacles to your amazing life.
Oh, that's dope. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is a good run. I had to get the clapping effect on here sometime. Thank you so much. And just lastly, the best contact, the best way folks can reach you. Is it the website?
Yes. You can reach me via my website, and I offer free consultations. So check out the website and go to the section that says create free consultation. And nice. I'd be happy to talk with you and determine whether or not we can and should have a relationship. One of the things that's on my website is, although I charge a fee, I don't coach for money. And what that means is it needs to be a good fit. So in your pursuit of a good therapist, in your pursuit of a great coach, it needs to be a good fit for you so that you can be transparent and vulnerable. So therapy works, coaching works, but only when you're partnered with the right person.
Nice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate having you on here. Hopefully you'll be back again in the future, near future, far future. We don't know, but hopefully, right? Thank you so much. Yep.
Anytime the amazing Chidera requests my presence, I'm there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this video if you find it helpful or insightful in any way, shape, or form. And again, you can reach Coach Chris at the website right here. See you guys soon again.